Imagine if AOC got to write history books and they said, why did people sneak into America? Oh, climate change.
Climate change is different because we have an expiration date.
20 years from now. Climate change was so bad that people were walking from Guatemala to get plane tickets to fly to Michigan.
We've got 12 years to turn it around.
Yeah.
12 years.
For real? Are you sure? Are you sure that happened? Maybe there's other variables? What do you think?
My concern is that we are going to be the frog in the pot of boiling water.
Hey guys, maybe some of the stops along the way, they only speak Chinese and they have Chinese signs. There's like a concerted effort to get people in from China. Hey, something going on? No, just climate change.
We are going to debate and debate and debate and debate. And then when we actually finally pass something, it is a wimpy carbon tax and our kids are doomed.
Oh, so simple. So nice to be able to...
Bill Maher and Joe Rogan have teamed up, and let's just say they aren't holding back. Their latest takedown of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is a fiery mix of raw humor and ruthless critique, leaving no room for pleasantries. It all started when commentators exposed alleged embellishments in AOC's personal narrative, sparking a media firestorm. Maher and Rogan didn't just join the conversation, they brought flamethrowers. Since then, it's been a full-on verbal blitz, packed with sharp wit, biting sarcasm, and zero mercy. Their commentary is unfiltered, unrelenting, and wildly entertaining. So if you're into no-holds-barred truth bombs, hit that subscribe button because the gloves are off and it's getting intense.
Did you hear what AOC said?
He wanted to pick a fight with me, little me. He's gonna lose that.
It's amazing.
Maybe don't send our country into war because you're in some type of mood.
It is straight out of South Park.
Gosh.
It's straight out of South Park.
Congress was supposed to have a classified briefing today, and they canceled it last minute.
Like what?
Yeah, I know.
It's giving scrambling, it's giving disorganized, it's giving they are having problems behind the scenes.
Do you know something I don't know?
Please understand that this is Trump's, this is a Republican. Don't let them...
Like, what do you...
I'm not exactly sure what flipped the switch, but watching Joe Rogan's complete shift in tone toward AOC is nothing short of hilarious. Gone are the days when he praised her as the fearless new face of progressive politics, a bold, young voice shaking up the system. Back then, he admired her passion, her willingness to speak out, even calling her brave for storming into Congress with unapologetic energy. But that admiration, it's evaporated. Now, Rogan doesn't even pretend to take her seriously. The respect has turned into razor-sharp mockery cutting, relentless, and often delivered with that signature Rogan smirk that says, "I'm not buying any of it." And he's clearly done playing nice.
Did you see the video of when she found out she won?
It's amazing. Play it.
I'm gonna grab her. She's right here. I can't let you go. She's
It's like one of the
looking at herself
realest
on television
moments. And
right
look, people are angry. 28-year-olds, what does she know? What she doesn't know, she'll learn. Maybe she knows a lot. I like the fact she wasn't supposed to win. I like the fact that the guy who was an incumbent was a 10-term incumbent.
Yeah.
And that he spent 10-1 versus on her.
Yeah.
How much money she spent? 10-1.
And grassroots got her
Grassroots.
elected, man, and that can happen.
Dude, she's a kid.
Yeah, that's...
And she's pretty. She's a pretty
Yep.
young 20.
Yes, that was Rogan, once an open admirer of AOC's meteoric rise, captivated by her underdog story and the bold energy she brought into the halls of Congress. He spoke of her with genuine enthusiasm, highlighting her courage and passion as a political outsider shaking up the establishment. And he wasn't alone. Millions bought into the narrative. The bartender turned congresswoman fearlessly challenging the status quo. But then came the shift. The sheen wore off. The speeches started sounding rehearsed. The authenticity people once celebrated began to feel like performance. And for Rogan, that change was impossible to ignore. The admiration soured into cold critique. Now, instead of seeing a trailblazer, he sees someone draped in progressive slogans but dodging the real heat, an activist. Politician who excels at optics but flinches at substance.
AOC was on TV the other day doing an interview.
One of the biggest issues that we have when it comes to immigration is the fact that we have an undocumented population.
She was calling them undocumented people. And the way to do it is to give them a path to citizenship.
You can fix that by trying to build a wall, or you can fix that by trying to document people and create a path to citizenship.
Well, how about you know who the they are. Because if you're a person from another country, say if you're in Europe, you want to come to America and become an American citizen, this is like a long, lengthy process every year. And you have to prove that you have a skill. There's a reason why you should be here legally.
One of the reasons that our public systems experience wait is because people don't have a documented and reliable path to work and sustain themselves.
But if you want to do it illegally, they'll give you money, they'll give you a cell phone.
Just like all of our ancestors did, the answer should really be we should make it easier to be legal, documented, and a citizen of the United States of America.
There's people in Mexico gone back 4 times that month. So every time he crosses over, he gets $2,000. They made $8,000 in a month from the federal government.
So, what you're about to see is a compilation of greatest hits reel, if you will, of AOC dropping some of the most baffling, logic-defying statements to ever echo through the halls of Congress. And honestly, at this point, it's hardly shocking. Remember when she confidently declared we could solve climate change in 12 years? As if global climate systems take their cues from legislative deadlines. That was peak AOC equal parts ambition and magical thinking. She insists that climate change is the driving force behind mass migration, casually waving off war-torn nations, failing economies, and authoritarian regimes like they're just minor background noise. Back when she burst onto the scene young, idealistic, a little green, it was easy to chalk it up to inexperience. But 5 years later, she's still recycling the same reductive narratives. That's not passion. That's willful ignorance. Complex global issues can't be solved with hashtags and viral sound bites. Yet she doubles down, leaning into theatrics and emotional appeal as if facts are optional. It's not just misleading, it's a masterclass in avoiding critical thought. And the audience? They're starting to notice. That's her trademark move, swagger until substance shows up. The moment she's nudged out of her comfort zone of Trump jabs and headline zingers, the FOD begins to crack. Ask her to dive into real policy details, and it's like watching a stage prop collapse mid-scene. Debate isn't her arena, performance is. She doesn't thrive in open discourse. She flourishes in curated echo chambers where applause is guaranteed and pushback is filtered out. Once pressed for specifics, the confidence quickly fades. The polished delivery gives way to vague platitudes, rehearsed indignation, and a striking lack of depth. It's the classic blueprint of the performative politician. Bold tone, hollow content, high drama, low data, and the media, they play right along, spotlighting her style, shielding her from serious scrutiny. So what we're left with is a soundbite superstar who falters the second the spotlight shifts to facts. No surprise, Ma jumped in. AOC's act is starting to show its seams.
Robotic tripods could be vaporizing New Jersey. Democrats would point out how the death lasers were disproportionately affecting low-income communities and people of color, and AOC would tweet, "Stop demonizing the Martian X community."
Yep, it's hilarious, but also disturbingly spot on. At this rate, we could have literal Martians landing in suburban neighborhoods, wreaking havoc, and you'd still see Democrats on primetime news solemnly advocating for their rights in the name of compassion and equity. As absurd as that sounds, it's not that far from reality. The fallout from unchecked illegal immigration isn't theoretical, it's hitting American communities hard. Fentanyl is sweeping through towns like wildfire. Trafficking rings, both human and criminal, are exploding. Local law enforcement is overwhelmed, stretched thin as they try to manage a crisis that continues to spiral. Families are living in fear. Neighborhoods once known for stability are now crumbling under the weight of chaos. Yet who are the loudest defenders of the dysfunction? The same voices doubling down on fantasy over facts. Leading that charge is AOC, spinning polished soundbites, fairy tale narratives, and tearful appeals, all while ignoring the real-world wreckage. So when Bill Maher joked about aliens tearing through Los Angeles while Democrats passionately argue for their rights on CNN, he wasn't exaggerating, he was just ahead of the curve, and it only gets more surreal in the next clip, where AOC completely misreads a major bill and gets fact-checked into orbit by Representative Mike Lawler.
Yes, she's entirely wrong. Look, the standard deduction, for instance, which was doubled under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, is made permanent. This is a huge tax cut for middle class and lower income families all across this country. Obviously, within this bill, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no a senior deduction, a child tax credit expansion. This is targeted towards the middle class and working class and lower income Americans all across this country.
Exactly, and that's what I've been saying all along. AOC doesn't just miss the mark. She misses the entire target. It's not just a lack of understanding, it's the refusal to slow down, research, or genuinely engage with the facts. Before leaping headfirst into the spotlight, take that major tax reform bill, for example. Aimed squarely at easing the burden on the middle class, it proposed substantial cuts meant to offer relief to hardworking Americans. But AOC wasted no time twisting the narrative. She charged in, declaring the bill a handout for the wealthy and an attack on those making under $25,000 a year. Bold claims, except they weren't even remotely true. The data didn't back her up. It was more political fan fiction than reality. And it doesn't stop there. Her carefully curated Bronx girl persona, turns out, official records place. Her upbringing in the affluent suburb of Yorktown, Westchester. Then there was that now infamous tale about cashing her grandmother's social security checks, completely fabricated. Though it went viral before being quietly debunked. 5 years in, and she's still relying on half-truths and high drama instead of informed discussion and evidence-based policy. At this point, it's not just misinformed, it's intentional. As Bill Maher put it, crowds mean nothing if the message is built on a foundation of fiction.
What about the big crowds that come out to you when you're talking in a festival or wherever they are? I think it's because I think Bernie showed up at Coachella. That must have been fun for the fans. It's who shows up on Election Day. And I just don't see that's the ticket. I mean, Cory Booker, I know you've worked with him. I like Cory a lot from my home state of New Jersey. Made a speech for 25 hours. Again, just whacking each other off. This is just not what's going to get the job.
I've said it time and time again, the Democrats are trapped in a cycle of self-inflicted failure, and they refuse to learn from their own political faceplants. Just look at the chaos from last year. Kamala Harris was rolled out like the centerpiece of a media spectacle. Packed rallies, glossy photo ops, and endless endorsements from influencers who know more about viral dances than public policy. They had it all: celebrity buzz, social media clout, and an eye-watering $1.5 billion in campaign funds. Billion. And yet, somehow, they still managed to crash and burn at the polls. Why? Because Harris, the person they positioned as the party's rising star, isn't a leader, she's a brand. A polished PR construct built on identity politics, not on vision, substance, or the strategic grit it takes to win over a country. And here's the kicker, they're not even trying to pivot. No internal reckoning, no recalibration. The DNC acts like none of it happened. Instead of focusing on results, they keep doubling down on narrative, optics, and curated talking points. It's like watching a director keep reshooting the same flap, hoping this time the audience won't notice the script still doesn't work.
Holy sh... He said what?
Did you witness the president commit a crime? Is it your testimony today?
Yes.
And what crime have you witnessed?
How much time do I have to go through it?
It is simple. You name the crime. Did you watch him steal something?
Corruption statutes, RICO and conspiracy.
What is it? What is the crime, sir?
You asked me to answer the question. I answered the question.
No.
RICO, you're obviously not familiar with. Corruption
Excuse
statutes.
me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
It's the category of crimes that you're then charged
You
under
have charges.
a long 100
You
list
have
of
charges.
statutes.
Please
Want me to name the exact statute
Sir,
under RICO?
yes.
Oh, well, it's funny. In this committee room, there's over 18
All right, sir. I reclaim my
lawyers
time.
that
I
went to
reclaim
law
my
school.
time. I
I'll leave
reclaim
it
my
up to
time.
you guys
Okay,
to
thank
define
you,
the
sir. I
statute.
reclaim my.
This one's so surreal, it almost feels like political satire, except it actually happened. In full theatrical mode, AOC attempted a dramatic gotcha moment during a hearing with Tony Bobulinski, the former business associate linked to the Biden family's overseas dealings. With the kind of confidence that usually precedes a meme-worthy fail, she pressed him, Did you personally witness Joe Biden commit a crime? But instead of letting that land, AOC doubled down, demanding he specify the crime. Calmly, and without missing a beat, he named corruption and RICO violations. That's when things took a nosedive for her. In what can only be described as political whiplash, AOC appeared genuinely stunned, seemingly unaware that both corruption and racketeering are federally recognized crimes. It was as if she expected vague accusations and got hit with a legal sledgehammer instead. Rather than undermining Babulinski, she ended up exposing her own unpreparedness live, on record, in front of the nation. It was a crash course in courtroom style. Questioning gone wrong. For someone billed as a progressive powerhouse, the moment highlighted a glaring gap between performance and preparedness, and it wasn't a good look.
Recommendation of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from his
Holman,
family.
with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or AOC as the world knows her, presents a fascinating paradox, an emblem of modern political energy wrapped in the aesthetics of social media stardom. Yet when the conversation shifts to presidential viability, the veneer begins to crack. There's a sense that she's more curated than candid, more viral moment than vetted leader. Her hyper-progressive messaging may thrill a certain base, but for the average American voter seeking steadiness in uncertain times, it's a tough sell. Her presence commands attention, but not always for the right reasons. The stagecraft, the sound bites, the Instagram lives, they showcase charisma, but charisma isn't competence. Leadership on a global scale requires more than passion. It demands strategic depth, intellectual nuance, and a steady hand. Right now, AOC often feels like a performer playing a role she hasn't fully earned, and yet she's young. Time is on her side. If she can trade performance for policy and develop the humility to learn from those who've led before her, there's room for transformation. She doesn't need to abandon her fire. She needs to refine it. The difference between a headline maker and a head of state is substance, restraint, and wisdom. At this moment, her presidential ambitions feel premature, not because she's too young, but because she's yet to evolve beyond the theater of influence. If she's serious about stepping into history rather than trending on it, the mirror awaits. It's time to stop chasing applause and start earning respect.